Hey there, welcome back to Melanie Loves Death Metal. Happy Friday, happy release Friday. The new Molder album is out today. I did not get the vinyl today. It actually is not going to be here until Tuesday, so I will save my review for it until then. But I have listened to it all day. Very excited to get that vinyl. I absolutely love Molder, so I'm excited. So that's what I'm listening to today. There was a couple of other releases too, but I don't remember what they are. I've been like having a really hard time keeping up with all the shit that's been coming out these last couple of weeks because it's been a lot. There's been a lot to keep up with. But speaking of that, I've got 3 brand new releases from this year. In 2 of these I've had for a couple of weeks now, and I just haven't really spun them and digested them that much. And one I just got in after it was delayed, and I like didn't even remember that I ordered it, and then I started seeing it on social media, and I was like, wait, did I order that? And I went, I was like, I did order that. Damn, it was back in August. I haven't got it yet. So then it finally came in. So first one is, I'll start off with the one that was delayed. I'm not too sure like what caused the delay or anything like that. But yeah, did you know Coffin Rot released a new album this year? I feel like it's been a really long time. Dreams of the Disturbed. This is on Maggot Stomp, which, as everybody knows, you can get their stuff through Closed Casket Activities now. So yeah, I pre-ordered this the minute it was announced, and then that was back in August. This officially came out September 20th, but I did not get this vinyl until about 4 or 5 days ago. So it was delayed. I actually messaged Scott and was like, hey, I don't want to be that person, and I'm not being that person, but I just realized I ordered this. Like, is there a delay or something? I didn't see anything. He was like, yeah, they're coming. I don't usually do that, but again, I forgot I ordered this because it had been so long ago. So, yeah, Coffin Rot, one of my favorite modern death metal bands. I have talked about them a lot on this channel, especially in the early days of this channel. So this is not a new band for me whatsoever. They are from the US. This is their second full-length album. Their first one was called A Monument to the Dead. That was on Rotted Life Records. That's how I first learned who they were. That is a phenomenal album, and I talked about it here. Since then, they've been signed to Maggot Stomp. They've released a split, a single, a comp called Dawn of Decay, which was their demos, which is awesome. Pick that up. That was out on Maggot Stomp. And now we finally have this. It's been years. I mean, like I said, their first full length was in 2019. This was one of my most anticipated releases over the last couple of years. We knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. It came, and then I forgot about it. So there's just been so much stuff coming out. But let me show you the vinyl, and then we'll talk about the music. So Coffin Rot is one of those pretty much your straightforward underground death metal band who really worship and wear their influences on their sleeve. So they definitely have the older school of death metal style to them. Definitely for this particular album, it has moments where it feels like it's Autopsy. It has moments where it feels like it's Deicide, and even times of Cannibal Corpse. Like there's a lot of really catchy riffs, really good, just good death metal. I love the vocal styles on this. It is a very catchy album. Everything about it is very smooth. They works well together. It doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to just be like the next big thing in terms of the death metal world. They have a great sound, and just overall, they're one of my, like I said, one of my favorite modern death metal bands. They write really good music. Now, a lot of people in the past that I've had on this channel who have come in the comments and said, "Oh, it's a Maggot Stomp band, so they're just a knuckle dragging a bunch of Neanderthals that make stupid death metal." That's actually not the case for this band whatsoever. They write really good, straightforward, what I like to call like meat and potatoes, gore-soaked death metal. They do it really well, and in terms of the modern style of death metal that is, like I said, kind of worshiping that older school death metal sound, they do it really well. They do incorporate their own, uniqueness to it. Hayden's vocals are just very inhumane at times. And that's one of my favorite parts about this band, especially this particular album. It's dingy death metal. It's very, dingy is not the right word. That's probably not the right word. It's got a brutality to it. I do think, like, if you're just a fan of the straightforward death metal, no frills, heavy, great riffs, chunky vocals, that horror gore, theme to it. You'll really, really enjoy this. So here's the printed inner sheet. The artwork is done by Wormwalk, who is awesome. He has done a lot of other art for a lot of other bands lately. I will link his Instagram in the description. That's how I know who he is. And then, I mean, like, look at that. I love that artwork. And then the back part. So this was actually the perfect album to come for Halloween. And it did come around that time. This is a very good Halloween-y style of death metal that would have gone well for the theme, but it is a very good album. And man, that vinyl is awesome. Yeah, it's definitely really good. Production is really good on here. It doesn't have like the demo sounding production or anything like that. It is a very well produced and well sounding death metal album, but that does not take the brutality away from it whatsoever. Still has like to maintain their quality of their debut that they had. Their debut was very, very good. But they have like this just no, like I said, no frills, not trying to reinvent the wheel here, just writing really good, catchy death metal. So definitely check this out if you are not familiar with Coffin Rot, although I feel like if you're watching this channel, you already know who they are because I've talked about them 100 times in the past. Phenomenal band. So yeah, link will be in the description where you can listen to that. And like I said, you can buy it through Closed Casket Activities. You can no longer buy stuff off of Bandcamp for Maggot Stomp, which was good. I've been saying that for years now. That partnership with Closed Casket was the best thing that they could have done, just because it's so easy to order. The shipping is handled and on all that stuff. So, Coffin Rot. All right, the next one this is simply these next two actually are heavily influenced by Simon from Explosive Action. Him and I, if you haven't figured this out yet, pretty much have the same interest and tastes in death metal, or just metal as a whole. We like all of the same underground death metal bands that are releasing these things. Like, we overlap a lot when it comes to what we're both showing on our channels. We nerd out and talk to each other all the time on Instagram and send each other things and stuff like that. Like, we just have that common love affair for death metal. So, and he keeps up with all the underground modern bands, so it's fun. And I have several friends that are like that, but in the vinyl community, like the YouTube community, Simon is the one that I interact the most when it comes to those things. Every once in a while, a couple of other people too, I'll talk to about things, but him and I just always seem to be in lockstep about what we like and what we're ordering and stuff. And it's funny because like he'll send something to me, and most of the time I'll respond back and be like, yeah, I have it coming, or I already ordered it. But there's been a couple of things where he has sent to me and I hadn't listened to it yet. And these next two releases were that. Dark Descent Records, Vanhelgd, Atropos, Doctrina. I completely butchered that. I've always known about this band. They're a Swedish black and death metal band. This is their 6th full-length album. And they've been around for a while now, obviously, since they have 6 full-length albums out. But I kind of sleep on them sometimes. I don't know why, because this album is phenomenal in terms of that black metal like style incorporated in with the death metal. It is simply perfect. I love the black metal riffage on here with the death metal style of vocals and at times chugs and all those things. Like, there's so much atmosphere of like good blend of atmosphere of black metal and death metal. Like, they do it really, really well. So like I said, Dark Descent Records, this is definitely going to be one that I think people sleep on this year. And I don't know why, because it is a very, very good album. In fact, I slept on it. This came out in July, and then Simon sent it to me about a month or two ago and said, oh man, like, people are going to ignore this release. It's so good. I listened to it and I instantly bought it. And I've been spinning this like crazy. This is actually starting to get me wanting to listen to more black metal now. Like, cause again, I go in waves where I just don't listen to it at all. This is starting to give me that itch for more of it. So I've been kind of lurking around on Bandcamp and seeing what's been released and checking out new releases. So yeah, this is very, very good. Oh, it's just so well written. And like I said, these like black metal style riffs in here are just so good. I love the vocal style of this. It's just a very, Very good album. It's 40 minutes long, so it's a quick listen. It goes by really quick. And like I said, probably going to be slept on this year. The band's been around for a long time. I really do like their other albums. I need to get them. I was a huge fan of their last album that came out in 2018, so it's been a long time since they've released an album. That's probably why I maybe forgot a little bit about them. Plus, I listen to a lot of new music. So, but yeah, definitely going to be in my year-end list for sure. My year-end list right now is at 30. I actually started doing it yesterday. I know there's a lot more coming out. I'm not gonna go and record the videos and do all that things. I've been seeing people say that, and I'm like, no, no. December still needs to come and go. I always post mine around like right before New Year's. Because by then, if something has come out like the last week of December, last 2 weeks of December, I don't incorporate it into my year end because I don't really listen to it all that much yet. And then talk about it afterwards, like, hey, this is what I missed on my year end. You guys don't fucking care. But anyway, I've been seeing people talking about doing their year ends and just calling it a day. I'm like, what the fuck? No, there's still some stuff coming out. Chill out. But this will definitely be there. There's a lot coming out this year. We've been graced by the death metal whoever with giving us a lot of great releases. Okay, so this artwork, actually meant to look that up, I forgot, is really fantastic. Matthias Frisk, actually, isn't he in the band? He is. He's the guitarist and the vocalist. Well, god damn. What an amazing artist he is. Like, just, this guy is super talented. He's in the band, and he also is doing this, so that's phenomenal. So print to inner sheet lyrics. Did I show the band picture? There you go. And then I don't remember what variants there were or whatever else. I actually ordered this on Bandcamp because I wanted the digital download with it. But Dark Descent has their own website too. It's just a silver vinyl. Pretty sure there's plain black too. So yeah, Dark Descent continues to be one of the best underground death metal labels, or just death metal labels as a whole. I don't even think they're considered underground anymore because I feel like they're just really well known now. But they do pump out really good underground bands, I should say that. So not many people know about them. But this one I feel like is relatively, people know this band and just maybe didn't quite realize it was coming out, or I don't know. Because I haven't seen too much about it. So definitely check this out. It is a very good album. Yeah, I really like this album. I spun it again today. This one and the next one I'm going to show you have been in regular rotation. A lot of people ask me how many albums I listen to a day. There are days where I only listen to like 3, and then there are days where I listen to music all day long, and it's close to 10. And I do re-listen to records over and over again, especially if I really, really like the album. So, all right, the next one is another one. It's funny because Simon actually said this to me, and I was like, oh, actually, I just ordered that. So, well, it finally came in. Siderean, I can never say their name. This is their newest album, Spilling the Astral Chalice. So yeah, this band, I've actually never owned any of their stuff. I really, really enjoyed their other full length that came out in 2021, Lost on Void's Horizon. However, I do think that this one is way better. It's just, they've really added a progression into their songwriting, which is funny because that's ironic that when you figure out what kind of music this is. But I think this album is just so good. What a great sophomore album that they've put out. The band is from Slovenia, so that's not really something you hear very often. And this is cosmic, progressive, dissonant death metal. There's a lot of progressive elements into it, and not in the way of like horrendous. It's more in the way of just it gets very technical and almost mind-bending at times. And then they add that like claustrophobic dissonance to it on top of death metal. It is so good. And the vocals are so goddamn unhinged. The guy just has these vocals of absolute agony and despair. So it's a really nice glossy gatefold. And I forgot. Here we go. The artist is, for the artwork, the album art is, because I really like this album art, Fernando JFL. Not too familiar with who that is, but if you want to pause, you can read it, all of the liner notes. So, Really nice glossy album. This is put out on Edged Circle Productions, and I was not too familiar with who they are. They are a label out of Norway, and I did buy this on Bandcamp. The record itself was relatively cheap, and the shipping wasn't too bad considering it was coming from Norway. So I bit the bullet and got it because after listening to it several times, it's like I really, really want to own that. Like this is a very, very good album. I spun it again this morning, just phenomenal. I really, really love dissonant death metal. Like I feel like this is the year of that, where there's been so many of those releases that have come out that I've bought, like Ulcerate. Like I've shown off a lot of it. Ulcerate is the one that I'm just naming off the top of my head. It comes with a printed inner sheet, which is what the vinyl came in, but obviously I switched it out with lyrics. And then a really awesome vinyl color variant. This splatter is stunning. In terms, this is now, clear vinyl is not my favorite, but with that splatter, this looks phenomenal. I'm pretty sure it's 180 gram too, so it's pretty heavyweight vinyl. It came relatively quick. It took about two weeks to get to me, which is pretty good because sometimes things get really delayed when I order them internationally, but this came pretty quick. Phenomenal album. It is not hard to digest those progressive elements to it at all. It's not progressive in a way of like Tomb Mold or Horrendous, where there's like the cleans and all the stuff like that. No, it's progressive. It's progressive death metal. It's definitely for fans of Gorguts and Voivod and Stargazer. Like there's a lot of those elements in here, especially Gorguts. But yeah, death metal with progressive elements for fans of Gorguts, Voivod, and Stargazer. That's what the hype sticker says. So I definitely agree with that. It also has a little bit of riffage that reminds me a tiny bit of more modern bands too. But I definitely I listen to this and I think of Gorguts with like those progressive elements into it. So it is a very, very good album, and it's not hard to digest. I think that, in fact, in terms of this album, with all of like technicalities and intricacies of it, sometimes can turn people off because it's a hard listen. I don't feel that this has that at all. So, yeah, those are the 3 releases that I've gotten in that I've been listening to a ton. Most of my collection updates here on out are going to be mostly new releases. I have stopped bulk buying old things that were in my collection that I sold off to get back. I feel like I have a pretty big passion of keeping up with new releases. It's like one of my favorite things to do in terms of collecting. And as much as I want to get all of the Immolation and all of the Gorguts is one, and all of the Autopsy and all those bands that I've sold off, I kind of just want to stick to buying newer releases right now and keeping up with it because it is definitely a passion of mine. I do love the older school of death metal. I do love the older school of metal as a whole, and I do collect that a lot, but I've just stopped now. I've stopped trying to regain that part of my collection for now, at least until then, because I've just been so focused on keeping up with new releases and talking about things and trying to get people to listen to it and get more, eyes and ears on this stuff and help out some of these bands. And I've made friends with some of these bands over the years, so like trying to promote them as much as I possibly can. So that is what my focus has pretty much shifted to for the rest of this year. Somebody was actually asking me, like, how do you keep up with rebuilding your collection with all of the new stuff coming out? And the short answer is I don't. I'm just focusing on buying new stuff right now. And that's totally fine. I know that there's a lot of albums that I would love to get back into my collection. Like I sold like all the things that I collected first when I first started collecting vinyl. But at the same time, there's just this passion of that I have, like, that makes me happy. I really like investing time into keeping up with new releases and talking about it and making videos and showing off the vinyl and letting you know like what you can get when you buy this. Like this is what they're offering, you know, for the vinyl, stuff like that. Those types of things, because that's what I enjoy watching on YouTube as well, and how I've made friends in the scene is through new music more than anything. We all love the old stuff. And I don't mind when there's a channel that focuses on that. Like there's several channels that I watch on here, like Lazarus, who is a hyper collector for Iron Maiden and Hammerfall. Was that another one that you really love? And like stuff like that. And he just has Judas Priest has amazing collection where he just collects everything you can possibly find for bootlegs, all those things. And I really do enjoy watching those type of channels. I really like when Aaron the Metal Theologian or Jurgen or Darcy and all of them show off a lot of the older school of metal and death metal and talk about it and like how they found out about them and how they know about the band and how long they've collected and showing off OG Cup. Is like, I absolutely love that. But I also really, really enjoy channels that show off a lot of the newer stuff too, because it's fun to see that like, oh yeah, these people like that band too. Like, yeah, it's on their listening list, and there's several YouTubers that do that here, so check them out. I know a lot of people hate the new school stuff, and they give me crap about it a lot on here, but that's just essentially what the premises of this channel was, and I'm going to keep doing that, and I'll have my moments where I'll show off the old school stuff too. But for now, my collection updates are going to be new releases here on out, or things that have come out within the last year or two that I never got or finally decided to pick up because for whatever reason. Anyway, that's all I have today. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Monday is a holiday here in the United States, so my kids are home off school, so no, I'm going to take a couple days off of uploading new things. I actually got a couple of packages from some people, so I'm going to be listening to that stuff, and then I'll be doing some VCLT videos next week. Also, I kind of want to do another contest, but where people have to enter by doing a video, so I'm thinking about that, and I might actually do like some vinyl giveaways and stuff. So I've been thinking of that for like an end of year thing, so yeah, I'm excited about that. So anyway, that's all. See you guys in the next one.